Within a week, the Keck Medical School Dean, as well as a key fundraiser for University of Southern California, have stepped down from administrative positions.
And sexual harassment allegations against film producer Harvey Weinstein have shaken Hollywood and beyond. See It Live starts now. Sexual harassment allegations have been making headlines the last few days. Good afternoon, I'm Brian Redhead.
And I'm Hannah Wing. There are allegations here on campus and in Hollywood.
According to a 2015 Cosmopolitan survey of more than 2,000 women, 1 in 3 has experienced sexual harassment in the workplace. 75% of those women did not report the crime. Women between the age of 19 and 29 are at the greatest risk of being sexually harassed, with 64% of women in that age range.
David Carrera is a former USC VP in charge of fundraising. He is now the focus of an internal investigation on campus. Carrera has been out of USC since last week. He worked in Bovard as a main force in fundraising efforts that has raised $6 billion for the university. In a statement from the Office of Equity and Diversity, Gretchen Means said, "Discrimination and harassment have no place at USC. We do not tolerate behavior that violates our strict policy and take appropriate disciplinary actions when it does." Upon receipt of complaints about Mr. Carrera, ODE managed to immediately begin an investigation. Another member of the USC community is no longer deemed amid accusations of sexual misconduct. Former Keck Dean Rohit Varma resigned as dean earlier this month amid sexual harassment reports dating back to 2003. Despite stepping down as dean, Varma told Annenberg Media he still looks forward to working with the school. We spoke with students at the USC Health Sciences campus about Varma.
I understand that this happened 15 years ago, but what happened I think is important, and I think that's being lost in all this commotion and discussion. The fact that he committed harassment on his own student, I think stands out in stark contrast to what happened with Puliafito. There was a lot of negative energy, a lot of negative response with Puliafito's, the Puliafito incident, and yet here someone's committing something that is harmful to a student, a USC student, and that same negativity is not so obvious. So I find it kind of strange that no one's really bringing that to light, and that it's not being talked about a little bit more.
So it's happened multiple times, and it's just concerning that there hasn't been a dean who's been really efficient and really adequate for the position.
Late today, USC confirmed that Dr. Varma will continue his patient care and research, but he is no longer the ophthalmology department chair or the director of the Roski Eye Institute. The USC campus is filled with parents and alumni. Everyone is coming together for the Trojan Family Weekend. Annenberg Media's Trevor Sohaki is live in Alumni Park with reactions from parents and alums on the latest allegations.
See on the USC 2020 page, somebody started.
That's right, Brian. I'm live here in Alumni Park where, as you can see behind me, they're all set up for Parents Weekend. They have a Welcome Trojan Family sign up top, a check-in station over there. They've been serving food all day long, and parents are over here just hanging out with their families and their students here getting ready for the game this Saturday. However, with all of the controversies that have been shadowing over the campus, some families and some parents and students believe that USC can and should do better.
Very disappointing with the dean's personal stuff.
Yeah. It's just kind of like confusing because like my mom was supposed to come for Parents Weekend, and like what dean is she going to meet, because you know there's no dean here, so it was a little confusing.
There's obviously some sort of pervasive culture that is kind of just like any business, it's from the top down. So activities that aren't great are just sort of seen as, oh well, if he's doing it I can do it, so that's unfortunate.
While those parents believed that all the controversies had a more negative impact on USC, other people that we talked to seem to believe that they're more optimistic. They believe that the university's response to the controversies is more indicative of its positive culture.
Between that library and that building, there's
I'm truly disappointed in the assistant basketball coach. That kind of stuff is unacceptable. And it sounds like President Nikias is on top of it. In fact, ironically, it's probably strengthened my opinion of USC, the way that President Nikias has reacted to it.
Love this school every time we've come to visit, and my daughter is having just the time of her life and just a fabulous time. And so in that regard, we can't ask for anything more. And I'm just hoping that it doesn't continue to keep happening.
I'm joined here with parent Melissa Murguia and student Megan Ely. Thank you so much for joining me. Now, Melissa, with all of these controversies that have been going on surrounding USC, has your opinion of the school changed at all?
My opinion has changed a lot once my daughter started coming here. Originally, I was very concerned with it being such an urban area that there would be more violence, that there would be a safety factor. And now that she's here and now that I see all of the security in place, the different measures that have been in place, that's relieved my fears quite a bit.
Now, what about all the controversy that's been going on in campus with the two Keck deans and the basketball coach and the vice president? All this has that affected your opinion of the school that's been going on inside of campus?
Not really, because at this point it doesn't really affect us. So I'm sure that parents that it affects them a little more that maybe are in the sports programs, I think it would hit them a little harder. As far as I'm concerned, you're going to have those kind of problems at any school you go to. So you kind of have to take it, in stride, and hopefully there's not much more that would happen, I guess.
Now, Megan, how about you? Has your opinion changed at all of the school? Have you been surprised by any of what's going on?
Yeah, I'm definitely surprised by what's been happening. My opinion of the school hasn't really changed, but I hope that the school can learn from this and whatever hiring standards that they had to get those people that created such controversies and did such allegedly terrible things, that they will learn from that and not let that happen again, because it would worry me if they hired someone new now and then in 5 years something came out about that. Then I'd be worried.
All right, well, thank you both for joining me. Live from Alumni Park, I'm Trevor Sahaki reporting for Annenberg Media. Back to you, Hannah.
Thanks, Trevor. USC requires all faculty members take an online course every 2 years. It's all part of an effort to combat sexual harassment and violence in the workplace. The course is also required for staff members, postdoctoral students, and student workers who supervise others. It takes about 2 hours to complete. The videos address sexual assault, domestic violence, intimate partner violence, stalking, and bystander intervention. The university also requires all students to take an online course called Think About It to learn about sexual consent, sexual assault, and bystander intervention. The course is designed to inform students about university resources and reporting options. The university has a separate policy for students to address sexual and interpersonal misconduct. The policy lays out and defines prohibited conduct to include harassment, sexual assault, non-consensual sexual contact, and sexual misconduct. The policy also addresses intimate partner violence, stalking, and retaliation.
Women Speak USC is a club on campus that mentors young women on issues related to gender inequality and social justice. Alexia Matthews is the vice president and joins us to talk about sexual harassment on campus. So thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. So why did you join a club like Women Speak, and how has it affected your time here at USC?
Well, women's issues has always been something that is very important to me. So to come to USC and immediately find an organization that stands for what I stand for and also gives me a platform to be able to voice my opinions in a constructive way was really important to me.
So what exactly does your club do to help victims who have been sexually harassed?
Well, Women Speak is a place that is a community. We consider ourselves a safe space for all members of the USC community. So we would hope that our members would reach out to us in that time of need, and then we would be able to point them to the appropriate USC resources.
So USC does offer support and counseling, but how hard is it to get into that, and do students really find that type of counseling effective?
Well, I feel the main problem up until this point has been most students didn't even know the resources were available to them. Another concern is that most of these resources are underfunded and understaffed, so students are having a hard time getting in contact with the appropriate people to help them out.
All right, so what could students do if they are victims of sexual harassment or prevent themselves from becoming victims of sexual harassment?
Well, if you are a victim, first remind yourselves it's not your fault. Also reach out to a close friend, someone that you trust, someone that can be with you in this time, and also help them, also use them to help you find the resources that you need. As for not becoming a victim, I think it's important to remember that we should be teaching each other to treat each other with respect.
Well, thank you so much for coming in here and having this interview and sharing your experiences and alongside the information about Women Speak.
Thank you.
So back to you, Anna.
On campus, the Engman Student Health Center offers resources to students who are dealing with sexual harassment and assault. The Office for Wellness and Health Promotion examines student behaviors to better educate them on prevention initiatives. The office has wellness advocates who lead care workshops to promote personal and community well-being. Relationship and Sexual Violence Prevention and Services provides therapy for situations related to domestic violence, sexual assault, and other scenarios that involve gender or power-based harm. Former USC linebacker Osa Messina pleaded three guilty charges account of sexual battery today as a part of a plea deal. Messina was originally facing prison time for allegedly raping a woman at a 2016 house party in Utah. Messina was originally charged with 2 counts of forcible sodomy and 1 count of felony rape, but he pleaded guilty to 3 lesser charges of sexual battery that were all Class A misdemeanors. Key evidence, including from the testimony, were from the victim's ex-boyfriend, as well as pornographic photos found on Messina's phone were deemed inadmissible, leading to the plea deal. The former linebacker was kicked out of USC in September 2016 after being accused of raping a 19-year-old woman at an off-campus party in 2016. Messina claimed the sex was consensual, but part of the deal was part of the plea deal. It acknowledged that he touched the woman's breasts and buttocks in an inappropriate manner.
Frankly, both sides feel that they could have, gotten more one way or the other. The defense, Messina's attorneys felt that they had a decent chance of an acquittal at trial. An attorney for the victim basically said, we accept this deal. We signed off on it. We understand that the evidence, what was allowed, has changed, but we feel like the justice system has still failed this woman in the case. So a lot of emotions from attorneys, and you'll see that a lot more when he is sentenced in a month or two.
Messina faces 3.5 years in Utah State Prison. His sentencing date is set for next month.
Hollywood is also dealing with a major sexual harassment and sexual scandal involving film industry mogul Harvey Weinstein. Dozens of women have come forward saying that they're targets of Weinstein's advances. Among them are Oscar winners Angelina Jolie, Gwyneth Paltrow, and Mira Sorvino. Today, actress Kate Beckinsale is the latest actress to come out with these allegations. Meanwhile, New York police confirm they are conducting a review to see if there are any more complaints against Weinstein. The Academy of Motion Pictures published a releasing statement quoting, "The Academy finds the conduct described in the allegations against Harvey Weinstein to be repugnant, abhorrent, and anti-ethical." The Board of Governors will be holding an emergency meeting on Saturday. We spoke to some students at the cinema school to get their opinions on the allegations against the Hollywood producer.
I think it's best to see what's actually decided in court before just jumping to conclusions, in my opinion. Especially in this industry, when things get blown out of proportion, you just have to make sure you're keeping in context everything that really happened.
I think it's very important that it came out because this is a guy who pretty much controls all of Hollywood. It's not just the difference in pay, it's the difference in how people are treated. I think there should be definitely some classes in general, not just the film business, to help just kind of get that jump into it, like what's okay and what's not okay.
Professor Laura Bradshaw teaches at the cinema school and says, as uncomfortable as it is important for students to understand that having boundaries is normal and expected. And because someone in power crosses those boundaries does not make it okay or acceptable.
Thanks for watching See It Live. From everyone at Annenberg Media, I'm Hannah Wing.
And I'm Brian Redhead. You can watch us on the web at uscannenbergmedia.com. Good night.